In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning. Joining us in studio today, Celeste Canfield, Rochelle District 231 Director of Language Services. Good morning.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's an exciting time for all teachers and school staff because you see the end is on the horizon.
Yes.
Spring's almost over. You're ready to be done with the school year.
We still got lots ahead, though. Yes.
But you are a very busy person. You help coordinate and run the dual language immersion program. First off, let's talk about what the school district is doing for those households where English is a second language. What are some of the things that you guys are currently doing with the students now?
Correct. So of these students that are identified as families as having a second language, they also then qualify for these additional supports within the classroom. So currently we have several of our staff who are certified as EL teachers. So then they get those supports within the classroom. Otherwise, we also have other teachers outside of their general education teachers that provide those services for them.
What happened before those types of programs were in place? What happened to those students?
So typically we would have what were pull-out services that they would leave the general education classroom, receive these services outside of the classroom, and then return into their general education setting.
Now, a majority of the students that are in this program are Hispanic. Rochelle's got a large Hispanic population. Has this program helped with the students since you guys have been working on this for a number of years now? Have you seen growth in the program and in the students' performance as the years go on?
Yes, and what's beautiful about that is that they're making advancements not only with their English proficiency, but also seeing that with their Spanish proficiency.
So it's teaching on everything, literally both sides of the ball, I guess, so to speak, here on that.
Correct.
With this program, what year did it start?
So our first class is up to now what would be our sixth grade class.
Okay.
So we have had started this program with the idea that we wanted to continue to offer it as an opt-in program, meaning that families still have that choice. Mm-hmm. So if they have a student who qualifies for these services, then yes, they get to be serviced within this program. But also knowing that we wanted this opportunity for others within our community that wanted this opportunity for their child to become bilingual individual. So hence why we have this as a two-way, meaning for our families that are Spanish speaking, but also that are not as their primary language.
So walk me through a little bit. What would a second grader's day be like who's enrolled in this?
So we have it split where 50% of their instruction will be in Spanish and the other 50% will be in English. So they split the day, and so they're with the content classroom in English for half of the day. And then after, whether it be their lunch or a specific time in the day, they switch and go to the other content. So that would be in Spanish.
About how many staff members do you have involved in the program right now?
So currently in our 5th and 6th grade, we have one section. So then we'll just have those English and Spanish content teachers. But now in 3rd grade and down through what would be our kindergartners, we have 2 sections. So then we have 2 classroom teachers that are in English and then 2 classroom teachers that are in Spanish.
About how many students right now are taking advantage of this great program?
So in those that we have those 2 sections, that we're about 100. And those that we still have those as the individual sections, those are about 50 students.
Getting close for those students to move on to high school.
Correct.
And that's sort of out of your reach then. What is the high school going to have available? Do you know?
So we actually are working together with the high school district. We're already preparing for them to arrive there. They're already having their meetings as far as like what that's going to look like, having these conversations as to what are their current proficiency levels, because that's going to be very distinct as to the current programming that they offer, as to when they are ready to come up and really what level of proficiency those students will have in both English and in Spanish.
Have you had situations where you've had older siblings and younger siblings in the program? And have you seen some of the benefits of that too, where you have multiple children from the same household involved in this?
Yes, and what we've really seen is that commitment from that family and just providing that support. And that's really what we want and are seeking out for, is this just be a community effort in the sense that we're looking out for our families to provide and continue to advocate for our program, and hence so then putting their students into the program as well as they see the success of their other children.
And we'll talk about how families can get involved coming up, because you guys have been doing some pretty fun things.
Oh, yes.
Involving getting the family involved. We'll get to that in a few, but we're going to get back to the nuts and bolts here. How much additional, I guess you could say, infrastructure was required for the schools in regards to like computers or books or things like that, besides staff, obviously, who would be bilingual? What other items did the school have to acquire to pull this off?
So we are fortunate enough that no matter what programming that we have, we are a one-to-one, meaning that each individual student has a technology accessible to them. So that's obviously come into our favor of being able to have access to things online as needed. And obviously you still have access to those online platforms, but also being able to know that it's not just within one program, but across the district. What we also have is our student-facing workbooks. This is from the hand of Ms. Kimberly Lumsey, who has been working very hard on getting these to our students. And that all involves some of those strategies that we talked before that are best practices for our language learners, and embedding them within our curriculum and those units of study. So then it's accessible to each of those students, and they're able to make more progress that way as well.
I have to say that it's amazing, because this is something I'm of a certain age where this type of integration just didn't happen. It was like you had described. You pull the students out of the classroom, especially if they're having difficulty in whatever facet of school life, and you would exclude them from the general population of the classroom. And all of a sudden the child shows back up on graduation day, and you're like, I don't even know who that is. In this case, you guys are integrating them, the students that are involved in this, into the classroom life and everything else. Has that also had an improvement too in regards to, I mean, I besides like playground and social skills, but after school activities, athletics, things like that?
Yes, and more so than anything, we want it to be an inclusive program. We want it to be something that they're seeing and they're having appreciation for others people's backgrounds and their diversity. We've seen it where, like you mentioned, at recess, they're having more of those fluid conversations where it's more genuine rather than it's like forced. So that is something that's been very nice with our programming, and also just knowing that the students feel more welcome. They don't feel so isolated, and really that's what we want. We want them to feel empowered that they can access this grade level content. They can access and produce work that maybe they didn't expect of themselves, but obviously the educators are showing that, yes, they also can produce and do these great things.
Was this model based on something done somewhere else?
So this is a model that we've known has been actually around for decades.
Yeah.
And it's something that we finally came to and said, you know, why can't we do this within our district? We have the capacity, we could have the personnel, so let's give this opportunity to our students so that they can become more successful. This is also from the studies of Thomas and Clowler, who have been doing these things for years and really seeing the results of those students who have gone from being in a push-out program into then now being a dual language program, which is more inclusive, and ultimately it gives that opportunity for all to be able to be successful in not only their English proficiency, but also then continuing to develop their native language, their Spanish proficiency.
Celeste Canfield, Rochelle District 231 Director of Language Services, joining us in the studio this morning, talking about how the school system in Rochelle is working with students who have households with two languages. What's one of the biggest success stories you've seen so far? Has there been a child that, you looked at it like first grade or second grade, you're shaking your head going, this is going to be rough, and then by sixth grade, they're straight A's?
Yes. And it's something that now that we are in actually talking about this standards-based reporting.
Yeah.
So we're not looking specifically on like percentages or just letters. We wanted to see as to how they're developing in these individual skills. And now by doing that and introducing that to those students, they're aware as to where they currently are and where they're heading. So that's what's been so nice, is that we've been very open with students and having them understand, while you are here, it's not to say that you can't be there. So just really helping them understand is like, that power of yet. you can't do this yet, but we will be helping you, guide you through that, so then you could have that ability to say, yes, I did this. And then that, again, that empowerment to feel like they can do more things within the future.
And let's talk about parents and families, because it's beyond the student's role, what you guys want to do. You want to make sure the entire family is involved. And I suppose that would help out substantially with things regarding just regular communication from the school, whether you got to sign up for school the next year, or the requirements for this, or to sign up to get on a bus route, whatever. Those are the types of things that, people who are just in English-speaking homes, you take for granted. You don't really think about how in a dual language home, how there could be obstacles for a student in their family life. And you guys are really bridging the gap on that.
We're trying our best. More than anything, we want them to feel like they can do these things at home too. We're only a small portion of their child's life. Like, we have them for this moment in time, or these years that they're with us within their education. However, they will have them for a lifetime. So we want to be able to support them and work together to have this partnership, to really say is like, whatever you're enduring at home, we want to help. If there's any way that we could help you, we want to be able to do that. So like you mentioned, it's something that we want them to know, is that they are their parent and we will support them, but also just saying like they don't have to do it alone.
You have some fun events coming up for parents and kids that you're going to be doing, and you have a scholarship as well to talk about.
Correct. So this is our football fundraiser, in which we are doing it through our BPAC, our Bilingual Parent Advisory Committee, that each year we have a pathway scholarship for a high school senior. So this is something that we're just growing. This is our first year that we're having this event, and we're hoping to build on it year after year. So essentially, it's a tournament in which students are going to be able to participate. Currently, we have about 300 students who are signed up to participate. So this is really what we are excited, and we've been promoting it and going in and really wanting to celebrate it. And we encourage and saying like no experience is required. This is really what we want, is just to give them the opportunity to just participate in these extracurricular things, but also involve their families in the community in being able to be those fans and being able to celebrate each other, all for a good cause. So please, if you are available, to come on out. It will be Saturday, April 27th. We were very excited to have all these students participating, and I'm sure that they would appreciate, as well as their families, to have this encouragement from the community as well.
Can we bring vuvuzelas?
Well, come on over. Anyone is welcome, and we all want to have a good time.
And again, that event is coming up in April?
Correct. Yeah, so we are going to be hosting this event on Saturday, April 27th. It will be at Lincoln Elementary School here in Rochelle. So we welcome anybody to come on out. While we do already have the youth registration closed, we still encourage for as many families to come out and be able to at least be super fans, as we call them, here to encourage our participants. We do want to make sure that you all are aware that this is going to be an event that is going to be safe. We are going to have things as far as, making sure we're taking full precaution. There also will be food vendors, so come on out. We already have a few taco trucks that are from our local community that have, confirmed with us that they want to be sure to be able to be there to help and support. So, a las familias que quieran venir, va a ser la fecha el 27 de abril y vamos a tenerlo en la escuela Lincoln aquí en Rochelle. Aunque ya se había terminado la inscripción de los niños, todavía pedimos a las familias que regresen aquí para celebrar con los niños y apoyar a los que están participando. Queremos darles a saber que va a ser un evento seguro, que vamos a tomar precaución. También vamos a tener vendedores de comida si quieren venir a pasar ahí y luego tomar algo de comer o tomar. Aquí estamos para divertirnos todos. If you have any questions in regards to this event, or you would like to know more as to how to volunteer, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our number is 815-562-8251, and you could ask for me, Celeste Canfield, or Miss Kimberly Lumsey. Si tienen algunas otras preguntas de cómo ser voluntarios o quizás más información sobre este evento, no temen de estar en comunicación con nosotros. De nuestro número de teléfono es 815-562-8251 y puede pedir por la señorita Canfield o la señorita Kimberly Lumsey. Gracias.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Celeste, thank you so much for joining us. You have a great day, and I hope the event turns out wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.